Hey, church family. Finally have some good news for you. Just got word about 30 minutes ago that we are now in phase 2 here in Clark County. And so, because of that, we are going to gather this Sunday. We were hoping we'd be in phase 2 earlier in this week so we'd give you more of a heads up, but I didn't want to get your hopes up until we knew for sure that we were in phase 2, and now we do. So, we are going to meet this Sunday. And I got a lot of information for you and what that's going to look like. So we're going to have two gatherings. There's going to be one at 9 a.m. and one at 10:30 a.m. If you want to attend one of these gatherings, you need to go online, and we're going to be sending out the link to you. You need to go online and RSVP ahead of time. This is because in phase 2 in our county, we are only allowed to have up to 50 people in our facility at a time, and so the registration, the RSVP, is going to be capped at that number, and we need to do that in order to be under these guidelines. So make sure you go get signed up. Kamaswa Shugel family, you are going to have today to do that, and tomorrow, Saturday morning, we're actually going to open it up to East Vancouver campus people and really the public at large. And so we want to give you first dibs on that because this is your church home, but you need to go on there and do it today. And if you need any help with that, please let us know, and we'll make sure to get you all signed up for that. If it turns out that we're having to turn people away or not having enough spots, we're more than willing to consider in the coming weeks adding more gatherings so that more people can come. Some of the guidelines for this phase from our state: masks are going to be required. This is going to be upstairs only for the adults or kids who are upstairs in the main auditorium for the gathering. You're going to be required to wear a mask. I'm going to be wearing a mask until I go up to the pulpit, where I'll take it off to preach and then put it back on. Same thing with the worship team, but masks are required. And so if you want to bring your own from home, that's preferable. We also will have some extras that we can give out to people who don't have them, but masks are going to be required. For downstairs in the kids area, we are going to have kids ministry. Jesse, who directs our kids ministry, has been working hard to make sure everything's ready to go down there. But down there, we're going to be following the CDC guidelines for childcare. And so masks aren't required. They are suggested, but that's just going to be up to you for your kids. If you want to do that, you can, but it's not going to be required. Our workers down there, same thing. They're not going to be required to wear masks, but they can if they would like to. We're going to be following all the guidelines in regards to social distancing. The auditorium and the kids area are going to be set up that way. We've already had the building cleaned and sanitized this week. We'll be cleaning and sanitizing in between the gatherings. We have hand sanitizer stations all throughout the facility at both of the entrances. Obviously, we have our bathrooms where you have soap and running water. We have tissues, we have waste baskets, all the things that are required of us. We have those things. So we're doing everything in our power to keep it safe and clean here. Another thing you need to know is that we're trying to reserve the downstairs entrance, which is the entrance that most of you use, for kids ministry only. And so people that have kids and their families can come in there, check in their kids, then head upstairs. If you're able, we'd ask that you're either dropped off upstairs at the other main entrance, or you park down below and there's outdoor staircases along the east side of the building where you can go up and then enter into that way. That just keeps things separate since we're doing some different guidelines in those two areas, and we just feel like it's best moving forward to do that. For giving, we're not going to be passing the buckets. We have 4 different giving stations that you'll see, 3 in the back of the auditorium by each entrance and 1 out in the lobby. These are the places where you can turn in your tithes and offerings. You can turn in connection cards and prayer requests, but we're not going to be passing any buckets, so we're not spreading any germs that way. For communion, we have individually pre-packaged little wafer and juice communion packets, and so you're not going to be dipping your hand into the normal plate with all the pieces of bread. No, you're just going to grab your own individual packet, and you'll have that to be able to take safely at your seat when we choose to do that. So with all of this, we're doing our best to keep this as safe and responsible, clean, We're trying to do our best in those areas. But at the end of the day, I want to encourage you that you need to do what's best for you and for your family, whatever your conscience is leading you to do, whatever you think is safest and wise. I would encourage you to do that. If you don't feel comfortable coming, I'd encourage you not to come. We're still going to be able to send out to you sermon audio and video. You can still log on and watch the East Vancouver gathering. But if you don't feel comfortable, and especially if you're at a high risk for getting it, if you're older or if you have pre-existing conditions, we'd encourage you to not yet come. Also, if you're sick at all, if you have any symptoms, please stay home. Please keep your kids home. You need to be self-testing, meaning making sure if you feel like you're getting sick, check your temperature, check for symptoms, and if there's anything, please stay home just out of respect and love for other people and their safety. And so I think I covered it all in there. Really excited to jump back in with you. And if you have any questions, please let me know. But we're going to be sending out that link today. CW people, get signed up. And then tomorrow it's going to go live to everyone. One last thing before we close off. There's obviously a lot of different opinions out there about just coronavirus in general, the quarantine, shelter in place, churches, when they should open, when they should stay closed. And we all have different opinions, and that's okay. As I said earlier, we're trying to do what we think is best, what honors God, which loves our people, and really is the what we deem to be the best thing to do. That's what we're striving after. But I understand that maybe some people would disagree with this decision to open up already. But I just want to encourage you with Scripture. Romans chapter 14, Paul addresses the church about disagreements they have. And they're not disagreeing here over a virus, but they're disagreeing about what foods to eat, what days to meet on, all of these kind of different issues that Christians may disagree on. And Paul says here in verse 4 of Romans 14, "Who are you to pass judgment on the servant of another? It is before his own master that he stands or falls, and he will be upheld, for the Lord is able to make him stand." He goes on to say just a little bit later, "Therefore, let us not pass judgment on one another any longer, but rather decide never to put a stumbling block or a hindrance in the way of a brother." And then in one other place, he talks about how we are to be in our own convictions with our conscience. We are to be able to we are to be convinced in our own mind and follow our conscience in that. We might, because of a variety of different factors, feel differently based on our conscience, our experience, where we're at in life, our background. All those different things might influence that, and that's okay. But we don't want to pass judgment on each other. We want to show grace and humility and kindness, realizing that we're all just trying to do what's best for not only our families and ourselves, but for those around us. So just want to encourage you with that. Let me know if you have any questions, and I hope to see you on Sunday morning.